Hi everyone, and welcome to another edition of Sartorial Talks. The subject we're going to discuss is one I can't believe that we haven't discussed before.
Yes.
And I have Hugo here with me to help. I'm going to lead, and today he's going to sit back, relax, and give us his thoughts.
That's my favorite position.
And the
to
topic,
sit back and relax.
I know you like that.
Yeah.
And the topic is bespoke mistakes that you can avoid. I can't believe we haven't done this show before, and I'll tell you a little bit of a secret. It could also apply to custom suits as well, but we're really going to focus in on bespoke tailoring because that is a big investment, and you don't want to just jump in and make that type of commitment financially without thinking it through.
Yes.
So,
by the way, you are reading my mind and
why?
my thought
What do you
because
say
I
this?
was about to ask: does it goes also? It's also relevant for made-to-measure or custom suiting. That is a little bit less, but always remember that for some people, custom suiting can already be a big investment.
Of course. And that we read each other's minds a lot, don't we? So here's
That's
another
what
example.
we do in life.
So let's jump right in.
Yes.
Okay. If you're going to put the money out there for bespoke, and it could be ranging from 3,000 euros to up to, okay, hold on to your seats.
Yeah.
14,000 euros these days.
Easily.
Which translates more in American dollars. So the first thing that you want to realize is, and give me your thoughts, Hugo, you don't always have to go for the big names in bespoke tailoring.
That's very true in our industry, darling. And well, it depends what you mean by big names. Because some tailors who are working with since, in my case, my original tailor that I started with in 2007, Cifonelli, when I met them, they were doing, I don't know, maybe 600 suits per year. So we can consider it's not a big name, or at least not a big production, at least not an international name. Now it became famous for the connoisseurs.
Exactly.
For the people who can afford them. Also, now they probably make not much more, 1,200 maybe the double suit, but they can't do more because it's all by hand. So, of course, there's big names and big names. But it's the same, I think, in all the sectors of life.
Well, yes, but let's get really specific, okay? Now, you have a reputation of having bespoke suits.
Yes.
That's part of your life. It's part of your way of dressing. And so when you go to a big name, they're going to give you a little special attention. Maybe the main tailors are going to give you a little special attention. If you're a new person and you don't have any experience with bespoke, I doubt that the big name tailors are going to be putting their hands on your suit as much as they are with yours.
Cifonelli is a big name.
Yes.
As well as Huntsman in Saviro is a big name, for example.
And they have many employees.
Yes. And Zegna Bespoke in Milano is an enormous name, of course, and Caraceni, etc. So you mean that, I agree with you. Start with Napolitan tailor, obscure, or little houses that we discovered. I agree with you. You don't have to go directly to the big names in tailoring. You can try to find through us, because we did so many.
We do a lot of curation, heavy curation. But and eventually you can make it up to the big names, but you need to have a little bit of a reputation as wearing bespoke to get the consideration from the big name tailors, whose name will be on the door typically, which is a way you can differentiate bespoke tailors from custom tailors.
I never looked at this like you did. Actually, I just realized that your reputation as a customer is also important in this world, to be well treated by the bespoke tailors. It's a bit sad, to be honest.
And I don't think it's a discrimination.
It's sad a little bit.
I don't really know if it's sad, because they can't accommodate everyone. It's just a matter of numbers. It's just impossible. So if you're not really knowledgeable in bespoke, they can hire out, or they can use one of their tailors to make your suit, because you're really not going to know the difference, and you're experimenting as well and coming up the curve. So I don't find it too sad. I find it sort of a necessity.
But it's and it's very relevant, specifically in MTM, for example. Don't go to Hugo B or to Giorgio A or to Ralph L. I'm not kidding. It's very important.
That is
because these
sure.
big names,
They're
They
just
will not
farming.
really take care.
They're
of
farming
you.
out.
And go to MTM salon who have a little bit smaller operation, and they're really they will really dedicate time, because the bottom line of all this is time.
It is.
How much time they want to dedicate to you. So that. But it's a very good thing. I never look at this from this perspective. Thank you, darling.
Yeah, you're welcome. And if you go to a smaller name, it's very good chance the main master tailor is going to be putting his hands on your suit, which is very special.
Exactly.
Okay, second.
Yes.
When you go to a bespoke tailor, don't step in there and just decide everything on the moment. Do a little bit of planning, have a skeleton idea of what you want, and bring in a picture of two of people that inspire you.
Yes.
In terms of what they're wearing.
This is for me, this is probably the number one advice.
So what type of skeleton idea would you come in with?
Well, I mean, it's if you're a newcomer, that's easy. You just browse. I mean, Instagram is a gold mine now. You just browse the few hundreds of Sartorial accounts, and you just take pictures of what you would like, not the exact same suit, but like this flair, this kind of feeling. So that's when I started Bespoke in 2006, there was no Instagram. So I was going through magazine, like
that's fun.
the old-fashioned way, cutting with my scissors, and put this thing, taping it on the paper. And the first time I went to Chiffonelli, well, actually, the reality is that I forgot my papers when I went to Chiffonelli.
Oh, no.
But
I wanted, had it in your mind.
Yeah, I had it in your mind, and my mind. Well, I just wanted to be very classic as the first bespoke suit. But yes, you have to figure out. Sometimes the people they focus too much on fabric. Okay, fabric is one part. It's easy. Fabric, you know, if you want a gray or a blue or a checked or a striped. It's easy. Or something more extravagant, which I don't advise you to do as a first bespoke suit. But they know much less in terms of cut. Do you want pick lapels? Do you want notch lapel? Do you want how many buttons, how many pockets?
Double-breasted, single-breasted.
Exactly.
What
so
color?
Yeah, you have to have this skeleton, basically.
Yes.
The type of
three-piece.
Three-piece. The type of cut, the type of fabric, of course, and the type of flair. Do you want something really tapered, close to your body, something a bit sexy, or you want something more
old Hollywood, loose?
Exactly, more comfortable. So have at least a little bit, and have the best advice is look at Sartorial Talks or read Parisian Gentlemen.
Yes, and don't forget, express the occasion that you're getting the suit for. Is it for every day, just to be classic in town, or is it for work, or is it for an event?
Normally, a good tailor will ask you all these questions.
Yes, normally.
Yes.
Normally. But if you don't know the answer, it can be complicated just on the spot.
Specifically when you don't speak the same language.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Because a lot of Italian tailors, they don't speak English, or let's say a very artisanal English. And so you have to be also prepared. That's a good advice I give you. Because if you go to Italy and you're not very good at Italian, like me, for example, I can express myself. I can make myself understood now in Italian. But it's very important that you work on the skeleton of what you do and come with images, because sometimes the language barrier can be something that is difficult.
I would even maybe translate a few paragraphs to explain what you want overall.
Esatto.
So, yes, so good. So the next one, this third one, is you need to try out your tailor before you do multiple orders if you're new.
Oh, okay. You mean you don't go in and order 10 suits?
Right. Get one suit, basic, probably don't invest a lot of money straight away. A simple cloth.
That's right.
Two-piece. Just the very basic offering to see if that's your tailor or not.
Because
you got to find your
well,
tailor.
baby. It goes very well for custom suiting. It's the same.
Yes, you got to find out.
Yeah.
Who's your custom suitor? Yeah. Who's your tailor?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you mean so don't pop in and say, okay, are you so excited because you saw some beautiful fabric and then order immediately 3 suits? No.
Right.
Take your time because, well, to explain this a little bit more clearly, specifically in bespoke tailoring, even if all the tailor will say to you, we can make anything, any kind of style, English, Italian, American, sack suit, or stuff like that. It's not true. The reality is that each tailor at a higher level has a style,
This is very good.
a flair.
You're right.
Something which is different.
They call it the house style.
Panico will not have the same style as a Chiffonelli.
No
will
way.
not have the same style as a Anderson and Shepherd. They
Liverano.
all have, or Liverano. They all have a flair. It's their house signature. It doesn't mean they can't do anything. They can.
Yes.
Still with their idea of style in mind, which is most of the time the idea of the master tailor himself.
That's true. That's a very good point. Most of these big houses will have their house style, with the exception of those tailors who really believe they're more of a designer and who actually want to, listen to what you want and be creative and design what you say you are interested in around you. But that's not so common. That's probably 10, 15%.
I agree. And at the same time, when you go to a tailor, you want the style of this tailor.
Exactly.
When you reverse the proposal. So we have a lot of friends that some people are asking us, why do I go? I'm looking for this, or I'm looking for that. And then little by little, they nail it down to the tailor they want.
Exactly.
And they say, okay, I have a friend of mine in head. He said, okay, I tried 2 or 3, and now I know this one is the best for my double-breasted.
Yes.
And this one is the best for my sport jacket.
Very good point.
Very
so you have
interesting.
to understand what the house style is, because maybe you can save yourself a trip if you think that's not at all who I am. So I'm not going to visit them.
Exactly. If you need some advice, you go to our Patreon page and you subscribe to our Patreon, and we can give you some advice. Exactly.
If needed.
Exactly.
Yes.
But that's another story.
All right. So the next area is very specific, and we've all done this, and I bet you're going to say you've done it too when I tell you what it is. The number 4 thing that you need to know to avoid a catastrophe in bespoke tailoring is have a natural posture when you're measured.
Oh, yeah.
Almost all of us are guilty. We're standing up straight.
Yes.
We're sucking our stomach in. I mean, we're literally altering our natural posture because we want to be, we want to make a good impression with a tailor.
You know why it's difficult?
Why?
Because we are never aware of our posture in everyday life. We don't think about it. And so when you're in the fitting room, most of us, we do this.
Yes,
stiff. We are like stiff, we have something in the butt, it's very stiff like that. And so the tailor will go, cool down. That when you cool down, you have a tendency of doing this. And you're right, you have a tendency of hiding your little beer belly.
Suck that
area
in.
And this is the worst idea. This is the worst thing you can do in a tailoring shop.
Because your suit's going to be tailored to that posture.
Exactly.
And unless you want to walk around like that every day of your life, don't stand like that.
Yes. But
there's
no miracle recipe on that. It's just try to be aware of your posture. If necessary, walk a little bit to be comfortable. But you're right. I've seen so many people, including myself. Yes. Even now.
Me too. Yes,
I have no idea how many suits I have. A lot.
Yes.
A lot of bespoke suits. And I'm still a little bit, stiff when I get measured. Yes. Specifically when I think that I have been eating too much mozzarella and too much bread and been drinking a little bit too much of Bourgogne. I have the impression I have to, and that's a mistake too. Don't say to the tailor,
I'm going to lose
weight. It is never true. It is never true.
No,
it
you
gives
regret
me
it later,
another
usually.
idea, by the way, which is the next. It's very linked to that. When you lose weight, it can happen. Don't have your suit altered immediately.
No,
you will regret it.
Just wear suspenders underneath.
Yes, you will regret it in 3 weeks. This is all. It works like that. Literally.
Right. Because if you lose weight for real, you can put your braces on underneath, and
it's going to
hold your trousers up. And then 1 year later, you might be back at the same weight, and you're like, "Why did I tell him that?"
Yeah. The magic recipe is that if your wallet is big enough for that, and you can afford this. Don't alter your suit, never. That is me. I can tell you now. I have suits when I'm a little bit stout, suits when I'm normal, and suits when I'm, and it's more rare, when I'm really fit. And at 60 years old, believe me, that's the best decision I made. I have a suit for every kind of weight.
I've seen it over and over. You look at your skinny range or your more plump range, depending on where your body is at the moment.
Well,
very good.
You can give the secret. These days, I'm looking more at the stout
more
one.
Plump?
Yes, a little bit more. A little bit more. A few kilos.
Yes, I got it. Good. Okay, next area is know some basics in terms of what you like regarding pockets and regarding the length of your arms and trouser length.
Well, that's very easy.
It's very simple, just to take a few minutes. Understand, typically, the chest pocket's going to come at the armpit. So if you see, a pocket up here, it usually means made-to-measure suit right away. You know that's not typically bespoke. The chest pocket will come at the armpit.
Yeah,
and then
the arms high.
Yes, and the pockets on the hips is called the hip pockets for a reason, your lower pockets, because typically those lower pockets will come around to the hips, at least make contact with the hips at some point. So
I would say there's probably 10 things to know. Not more than that.
Yeah, so that's
10
simple.
things to more, but you have to educate yourself. That's it.
That's true.
It's
But
very
we
important.
can name a few basics. And in lengths, for example, may I see your arm?
Yes.
So typically this, the length of the sleeve will be coming around the bone on your wrist, and it will cut right there. And then you can easily remember these very simple tips. I know you love that word.
I adore tips. It's not my culture.
To just double check and make sure that everything's going to come out all right in the end. The length of the trousers as well.
Once again, normally a good tailor or a good style advisor in a made-to-measure house will give you these advices, but it's better and safer if you know them by yourself.
Well, I've been asked, how long do you want your sleeves? Maybe women, want them different lengths. Do you want a break on your trousers, or do you prefer that they graze your shoes?
Okay.
You have to sort of know this beforehand.
Yeah.
And,
I agree.
And then during the second fitting, if your pocket is way up high on your shoulder, you can say, please lower the pocket. Or if they're right in the front of your jacket, you could say, let's shift them over towards the hips a little. And so just being aware of these very basic things.
And for that, it's easy. Read a few blogs.
Yes.
Including ours, ParisAndGentlemen.com. Look at a few YouTube channels, including this one. And then I think you will have everything. But don't go extreme. Don't go crazy to say, I want this at 3 centimeters to the... No, just basics. Because normally, I think that the success in all this is a relationship of confidence between you and a tailor or a style advisor. That's what makes things really important and enjoyable.
We've said it many times that basically you don't have to go to extremes on the first fitting, because the first fitting is for the
tailor. I mean, you speak specifically of bespoke, because in MTM there's no fittings.
Oh no, that's totally different.
But the bespoke, yes. It's something that a lot of people, specifically newcomers, are doing. They want to intervene at the first fitting. The first fitting, it's a basted fitting. It's rough, basically. It's not for you. It's for the tailor. So you just shut up, basically. You just follow the movement.
He's getting to know your body.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then on the
second,
which is for me the real first fitting.
Yes.
Then you can open your mouth.
Exactly.
And can express what you want, what you don't want, and then the tailor will follow you. But the first fitting on a basted jacket, just don't speak.
It's very rough, yes, and it's just getting to know your body.
Exactly.
Yes, very good. All right, next area. Now, you will probably have some examples, because I know that you have some really big aversions to certain things. So I'm going to say number 6 is avoid gimmicks. I'll use the example of the contrasted buttonholes.
Yes.
Gold threads going
yes.
vertically down for the pinstripes.
There's even some crazy things that have been done in the past. For example, in some pinstripe, you can have your name printed in the pinstripe.
I've seen that.
This is ridiculous. This is exactly the reverse of what you want to do. This is not elegant. This is, look at my suit, how expensive and good. So some people did diamond, pinstripe, gold pinstripe. This is ridiculous, people. How are you putting your money on that? Buy yourself a good watch.
If you have 20 suits, and you want to play for some special outing and do something crazy, why not?
Yes, of course.
But if it's an early suit, you don't want to go too far with the
My
gimmicky
personal
type of
enemy is the contrasted buttonhole. For me, it's really like, I know a lot of people love that.
They do.
And also contrasted buttonholes on the sleeves.
Yes, drives you crazy.
And then leaving them open, because a bespoke suit, of course, there are functioning buttonholes.
Yes,
But
yes.
don't play too much. But you can ask to have them altered to be functional.
Right.
And you know the reason why is not to show how expensive. Is that when you wash your hands, you just
roll
do
them
this.
up, yes.
You know, it's very easy to understand. But yes, I really am not very comfortable, as well as crazy lining. So lining, you can have fun.
Yeah, fun.
You
Yes,
can-
I love different
this
linings.
you can have fun, but
I mean,
it's-
look at my lining.
yeah, it's fun. Mine is very discreet.
Yours is
I'm
discreet.
very
yes.
discreet always. But this is my style. I prefer to be toned down. But yes, don't use too much gimmicks.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes the same, actually. It's the same for shoes, but it's not our subject of today.
It's not.
But some crazy patinas.
Yeah, and
on
Leon
the
wrote an
shoe.
article on A Parisian Gentleman about that. I
Yes,
think,
yes.
like
Just-
2 months ago.
Yeah, but I mean, it's our taste. You will not go to prison if you put a contrasted buttonhole, but don't be fooled. This is not our idea of elegance. Elegance is more discreet.
True.
And it is the way you move, the way you behave, the way you are comfortable in your suit, and not because for me a contrasted buttonhole is like when you smile you would have the brown on your teeth, literally. This is ridiculous.
See, I don't feel as strongly about that, but I think after a few suits, if you want to do that with a linen suit or something like that, go ahead. But
Right.
early on, you may have some regrets if you go crazy.
Yeah, I agree with you. So no gimmicks for sure.
Yes, yes. All right. Seventh is a little more nuanced, okay? And that is, don't have an extreme attitude in either direction. That like being nitpicky, like, oh, my shoulder, it has to be a little more like over this way. And, you know, I want my waist more nipped in. I mean, you can do, like, give general impressions of what you prefer. But if you really go to extremes about every single thing on your suit, you're going to throw something else off.
Yeah,
So you have to trust the tailor to understand your proportions, and you could gently point out areas of concern. But if you really, like, I'm sorry, but we know one tailor in particular who say his Japanese clients, we love the Japanese, we love their fortitude, and we love their
I know who
attention
you're
to
talking about.
detail.
It's from Rome.
But he said they're driving me crazy because they're picking at every single thing, and you just can't balance everything. So you really can't go to that extreme without throwing something else off. So you trust the tailor to get the proportions right, and draw attention to things that you think might be helpful.
Yeah. I've been like that a
keep
little
cool.
bit, I would say, because I thought that I knew everything after 3 or 4 suits. Well, I was really put back in my place very easily with Lorenzo and Massimo Cifonelli because they are maestros, both of them.
Yes.
But you said it all. Just don't be too, and don't be too obsessional.
Right.
That is to say, I remember my first suit, I wanted them to be extremely fitted. But the problem is that if I had just a glass of wine, just one glass, and just 1 fork of pasta with Parmigiano, I couldn't button my suit
Well,
anymore.
that was back in 2007 when that was the look. Now it's more the old Hollywood relaxed
Yes,
type
yes,
of look.
yes. So yeah, don't go into extremities, and it has to remain a pleasure and not an obsession. And
that's well
the line is very thin between enjoying and being obsessional. Being obsessional is not bad. I am obsessional about wine, about cooking, about elegance, about shoes. But the line between enjoyment and obsession is very thin. Always try to make this a pleasurable experience. This is why finding a tailor or MTM company with which you're going to feel comfortable is extremely important, as long as elegance is important for you, of course.
Well said. Thank you. Another way to look at an extreme is also don't compromise too much.
Yeah.
Like if something is really bothering you, you have to say it. Like if you really hate the shoulder, you're guilty of this. You've had the shearing on the shoulders.
Yes.
You really didn't like it.
That's shearing on this one.
Yeah,
a little
that's
bit.
beautiful. But you went to a Neapolitan tailoring and he did some extreme shearing.
I remember.
You didn't speak up.
I didn't say.
You felt weird
Yeah.
when during the fitting. You're like, but you're trying to convince yourself that maybe I can like this,
Yeah.
and you never wore that
This jacket is in my closet.
jacket. You never wore it once.
I tried like
Yes.
50 times to wear it.
Over
I
and
thought,
over.
No, I can't wear this.
And you
I look like a
compromised.
clown.
You
Yeah.
compromised too much. You knew you didn't like it, but you didn't speak up. So you can go to the other extreme
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, you mean, so don't be extremely obsessional about everything and want to do everything right. But at the same time, don't go into extreme in compromisions.
Exactly.
Right? You have to, if you see something you don't like, just
You have to say it. You have to say it.
I think, you know what? It's a metaphor of life. What you just said is absolutely applicable in life in general, not only in tailoring. It's applicable. Don't go to extreme. Well, I mean, some people go to extreme. They compromise too much in their life. Something they don't like. It's good to know, but at the same time, sometimes you have to enjoy life for what it is. You don't want to go always extreme on everything. You understand? So I don't know. It's just an idea I had like that. But all the thing that we did, that's just a metaphor of a global behavior in life.
Got it.
Because for me, bespoke tailoring or even made to measure, it's a school of life. It's very, we spoke about the belly just before. It's a very humbling experience. Even if you pay a suit for a lot of money and you have a lot of firepower in your pocket, when you are in your underwear with your beer belly in the intimacy of a fitting room with a tailor, it's very humbling. Because we are all the same. Definitely. Whether you're Prince or the guy around the corner, you're the same. Yes. In your underwear, and you try to suck in your belly, and it doesn't work really, and the tailor knows everything about you. This is a very humbling experience, and this is why I like it also. Because at the end of the day, it's about human interaction.
Yes, and I think a lot of people get addicted to bespoke tailoring because it becomes a culture.
It is.
I mean, there's so many stories behind men who have commissioned suits, and of course we have the people who watch James Bond movies and see the bespoke suits, in Savile Row being made, and they are just like enamored with this idea. But truly, it is a culture in itself, and I think people start getting to know other people who are into bespoke tailoring. They feel that connection. They feel the beauty of the gesture and getting the suit made with the tailor. And it's sort of addictive.
And on top of that, what is very important is that unlike made to measure, the hands who did the suit. Yes. That changes everything. Even if it's not the master tailor himself, the team. You've seen it. When you see in a bespoke tailoring house, when you see your suit in progress in the atelier, this is a good experience to say, they're working for me by hand. This is something special. And this is why, some people say the price are stratospheric. It depends what you love in life. I mean, I know a lot of people, they spend so much for their cars or whatever and very little for their outfits. Well, we are the reverse. We prefer to invest in how we look, and this is why bespoke tailoring can be a passion and something that is not on top of your list, maybe not before food, of course, and healthcare, but not far, just after, because the way you present yourself to others and to the world, the way you live your life, the way you enter your life every day, it's something that is worth thinking of.
And I would say, sometime in your life, if you're able to, try it one time and see if it's for you or not.
Exactly.
It's very simple.
Exactly.
Okay, we're going to end the show with you trying to guess the last point.
Okay.
Okay, the
Give me a
last
little
point
bit of
is, I will give you
a
hint.
Yeah.
There's something that you never say to your tailor.
Oh, yeah, I know already.
Say it.
Take your time.
Never tell the tailor
No, even worse. I have time.
Yes.
It's not an emergency. Don't worry.
Avoid,
never say this to your tailor.
Avoid, because you won't see your suit for a very long time.
2 years.
Yes.
Probably 3 if he doesn't forget it.
Right.
Okay. And so it means that, but normally now, if you put a down payment of 50%, normally you will give a call after 2 or 3 months.
Yes. And you don't want to be an annoyance, but you can say, I'm looking very forward to the next fitting.
Exactly.
Enough said.
Exactly. So never say that. And then, a little thing that I've seen, which is not exactly correlated to that, but it's very interesting. Okay, it maybe sound crazy and old-fashioned, and even, how do you say that, not very relevant, and even offensive to some people. But the reality is that if you go to Savile Row in some high-level houses, or if you go to Cifonelli or Comes de Luca, or if you go to Caraccioni, you don't speak about money. That's the gentleman attitude. It means that if you don't speak about money, it means you have the wallet, of course.
And you've done some research, so you have a general idea.
And then you know
yes.
the price before you go.
Yes, of course.
But it's very inappropriate in many. I know some people will throw rotten tomatoes because we live in a world where this kind of little things, little touches of secret, it's just the attitude. You're not here to negotiate the price of a fabric or the price of a cut. If you're to tailoring, pretty much the price, And you're here to speak about life and enjoyment.
It's true, but if you have to be responsible, financially, you can give a call before.
Of course.
And as just a general caller and say, what are your prices? Can you give me an idea? I'm thinking about coming in.
Exactly.
Easy, simple.
It's just a thing like that. I know it may sound a little bit old-fashioned, but, actually, there's a very funny story about that, is that I think this is Winston Churchill. He was applying this a lot. He never spoke about money with his tailors, but he never paid them. So that's a very known story on Savile Row. I don't think you can
get away with that these days.
Yeah. But his name was Winston Churchill, maybe. But he was very famous for that. I remember our friend James Sherwood. He was on a TV show on the BBC or radio show, TV show, and he was explaining this. This tradition not to speak about money, Winston Churchill did it very well because he never spoke about money, but he never paid. That's another story.
That's fine. All right, so I hope that everyone has at least learned a little bit about what you can do to avoid mistakes, because truly it is an investment to commission a bespoke suit. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments. If I missed something, please put them in the comments, because we're here to gather together and learn together. And I look forward to seeing you next time on Sartorial Talks. But until then, cheers.
Everybody.